Yo, what's up, guys? It has been way too long since I've done a review. I think we're coming up on like 2 years. So I'm back. The channel's back. Apparently, when you buy a new house and move and you get a dog who's psychotic and then you have a baby, YouTube tends to take a back burner. So we're back and I'm stoked. Today we're going to be, I guess, relaunching the channel here with an alpine ski binding review. I want to talk about what I think is the best value alpine ski binding on the market. This is the Tyrolia Attack 14. If you're familiar with Tyrolia, sweet. If you're not, Tyrolia is actually the largest ski manufacturer, I guess, binding manufacturer in the world. They make more bindings than anyone else. You have four main players when it comes to ski bindings. You have Look, Salomon, Marker, and Tyrolia. A lot of companies that make skis, but they're not in the binding game, rely on Tyrolia to make their ski bindings, like Head and Fisher, to name a few. But how does this binding stack up? Where is it at? I would say to compare the other bindings on the market that it skis similar to, it's going to be the Marker Griffin and the Salomon Strive. Price point wise, the Marker Griffin comes in at $299, the Salomon Strive comes in at $279, and the Tyrolia Attack comes in at $269. So $10 cheaper than Salomon, $30 cheaper than Marker. This is the 14. The Marker is a 13 DIN binding that I'm comparing them to. And this Salomon is a 14 DIN binding as well. DIN is the release setting. So how tight can you make the binding for your boot to release out of? So it's not a ton cheaper per se than Marker and Salomon. However, I think you can find good deals on these bindings year round. I think Salomon and Marker are a little bit harder to find good deals on. Tyrolias tend to be a little bit easier to find a discount on. So I've seen these bindings for $200 or cheaper. So that's why one of the reasons I've skied this binding a lot. I've skied well over a couple hundred days on these bindings. Probably between this and the Salomon, it's my most skied binding. So why do I like it? First, this is maybe not a huge thing that people should focus on, but I love it, is the heel piece and getting in and out of the binding. The way they've manufactured this, and I don't know if this is something that's unique to Tyrolia. I know my other bindings I've had aren't like this, but it's got a two-piece heel on it. And the way that they build it just makes it easier to get in and out. You're not having to leverage this massive heel piece. And I know some binding companies really talk about how their big, long heel piece is a great thing. I don't know. I've skied both of them. I feel like these are sufficient. So the way that they designed this heel piece, I really like. It's really easy to get in and get out of. So especially for the skier who's maybe not skiing a ton, and getting in and out of the binding is fairly difficult. The way they've manufactured this, I just feel like it's a really easy binding to step in and step out of. As far as how they ski performance-wise, I think for the average skier, you're not going to notice a huge difference or a difference at all between Salomon, Marker, Tyrolia, as far as the feel and the power transfer to the ski, to the snow of the actual binding. I've skied so many different bindings out there, and I even have a really hard time saying, oh, I really like this binding, I really like this binding, this one skis way better than this one. There are differences, stack height, various different things, but for the most part, there's not a huge difference as far as how does this binding ski versus Salomon versus Marker versus Look. The one area that I think Salomon and Marker and Look might have an upper hand over Tyrolia would be durability. I've never found durability issues with them. I've never had a failure with my Tyrolia bindings. Again, hundreds of days on a single pair of binding, and they've held up fine. But there is a little bit more plastic in these bindings. So I could see there being durability issues. That's just one thing I've noticed. So they can hold up, they do well. That's just one thing. The other ones, the actual face materials of the other bindings tend to be a little bit burlier. Maybe they're metal, so they're also going to be heavier. I think, again, for the average skier, even the enthusiast, someone that skis a lot, this binding is plenty sufficient. Has my stamp of approval. I really like them. And yeah, that's the Tyrolia Attack 14. If I were to put my money into any binding on the market and I wanted my dollar to go further, this is what I would buy, hands down. But the channel's back. We're doing this thing. You know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Tell your friends. And we'll see you out there. Take it easy.